Hey, everybody. This is Dominic Piccini. Thank you for joining us tonight, Tuesday night, with the Doctor Clinic call. It is my opportunity to kick off the call tonight, and tonight's topic is going to be longevity and age reversal, which I'm very excited about because I do hope to live forever. I don't know if that is currently possible. I am familiar with one Harvard University study that says the biological potential of the human body is 150 years or more. I'm also aware of 2 herbalists that allegedly lived over 200 years. So without further ado, it's my distinct privilege to introduce to you the man with actually this year was 30 years of chiropractic experience, 15 years of anti-aging experience. Doc Fizz, you are the man. It is a privilege to work with you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce you tonight. So take it away, please.
Thank you, Dominic, and thank you, Rob, for everything that you guys do. You know, I just tell people I'm just a dumb doctor. You know, this is the only thing I really know how to do. People ask me to, you know, what else can you do, and I really can't do anything else, Ben. And that's kind of one of the things that I want to talk tonight about is that tomorrow night, I'm super excited. Tomorrow night, I was invited to attend the first ever, they're calling it the Woodstock of longevity science. I mean, think about that. The Woodstock of longevity science. I mean, I'm traveling here with my world-famous musician buddy. How long ago was Woodstock?
1969, Fizz.
1969. People still talk about Woodstock, and so they're calling us the Woodstock of longevity. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be there, and it's sold out. It's a sold-out conference, and really what it is, it's a convention. It's a meeting of people like myself, like-minded people who really want to do exactly what Dominic just said. They want to live forever, and I know, you know, for those of you that are listening to the call, those of you that are listening to the recording, you're going to say, oh, yeah, you're one of those guys, you want to live forever type of a thing. And really, when you think about it, when we say we want to live forever, you know, we really don't want to live forever. We don't want to be a vampire or anything like that. What we want to do is we just want to live to our genetic potential. We want to live out our lives healthy to our genetics. You see, our genetics are coded with a lifespan. They're coded with a code that tells the cell how long that it's supposed to live. But most of us never live up to that. Most of us never live up to the code. And like Dominic was saying, I mean, they're really saying right now, if anybody remembers, last year, February, the last week of February, you know, so I suppose the 20th, the issue of Time magazine, on the front cover, it showed the picture of a little baby, and it captioned it said, this
Doc, we do not hear you. At the moment, Doc Fizz is hung up. He is likely dialing back in. Please stand by. We have a temporary Doc Fizz outage. Please stand by.
It's right here. Or no. Yeah, it's right here. Hello? Am I back on?
Welcome.
All right. Rob, how long was I off there before you let me know?
About 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So I'll keep it on this line here, see if this works a little better. So hang on 1 second. And, okay, so I think I was just talking about the fact that you know, I'd hurt my back in high school and decided that I wanted to be a chiropractor, and that we all figured out what talents we're good at. But, you know, I went to school to be a chiropractor, And really, what does that have to do with tonight's topic? Is that just like some people, my friend that's in the truck with me right now, he's a world class musician, and I couldn't sing a note if you wanted me to, but I'm really good at the chiropractic and the natural medicine, and think about this: every cell in your body also has its own job. It has a job that it's supposed to do, and it has its own job that it's supposed to do, and if it doesn't do that job, what ends up happening is that the body kind of tends to fall apart. And, so each organ has its own thing it's supposed to do, and if everything goes right, it's just like an assembly line. At the end, the final product is working really, really well. And again, if something goes wrong, it messes everything up. So when I look at the human body, when I look at somebody, a lot of times, when I'm in my kind of my scientific mode, I look at people and I go, think about it like this, and I know some of you will do this tonight or maybe tomorrow. But when you see somebody, look at them as just being one big plastic bag, right? It's not really plastic, it's skin. But inside that plastic bag, you just dump a bunch of chemicals and a bunch of different minerals, and they all get arranged in a certain fashion, right? And that's what we're made out of. And so how easily is it for this chemical to be kicked out of its spot, and another chemical jumps in the spot where it's supposed to go, and that's what happens a lot of times. But we can't just throw all these chemicals into a bag and all of a sudden, voila, there's a human being, or there's there has to be energy, and so each cell is coded, and it's coded not only for what it's supposed to do, but it's coded with a lifespan. And when it comes time, that cell, what it does is it replaces itself, and it replaces with a fresh cell. Well, practically every cell in the body gets replaced in a relatively short period of time. I mean, we're talking, some cells are in hours, other cells are days and months and things like that. And so if those cells don't get replaced, all of a sudden they start to get to be aging cells. They get to be old cells, and things can go wrong, and that's why we get sick. That's why we get diseases, and really that's why we see a lot of people aging prematurely. So I went to school for engineering, and I realized that that's not what I really wanted to do, and I realized it wasn't my calling. I went back into chiropractic class, and I'll tell you, I never missed a class. I was on the dean's list every single quarter. 2004, I was selected as one of America's top chiropractors, and I got bored with working with backs and necks, and I started really kind of looking at the whole aging. I started looking at the aging field, and as I did that, I started realizing that some people have genetics that no matter what they do, they can do everything right, and they're not going to get to live to be a ripe old age because they're just not coded for that. And as I started working with people and started asking them questions and started questioning people, what's the worst thing that's happened to you? I remember asking my friend Jerry, 96 years old, and I said, at 96, what's the worst thing? And he told me, he said, well, as you get older, most of your friends don't. Most of your friends don't. And I thought about that for a little bit, and I thought, you know what? I mean, that's probably exactly right. And so we all got to start to hang around with people that are kind of like-minded, people that want to get old, because that's one of the first keys to getting old is wanting to get old. And so I got into this whole age reversal business or it was first called, it was anti-aging, and I thought, well, we really can't call it anti-aging because anti means not, and if you're not aging, that means you're dying, and so we really had to come up with a new term, and that's really where we started to call it, age reversal, because that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about how do we slow down, how do we reverse the aging process, and so that's really what I kind of got into. And so before we can start really talking about slowing and stopping the aging process, I think a lot of times we really need to figure out what's causing it. And that's what the scientists have really been working on over the last, couple of decades or few decades. And we call that health-evity. That's the branch of age reversal called health-evity, where we're trying to figure out exactly what are the problems. Because once we figure out the problems, then we can start really working on the longevity. So when we talk about cells that are constantly replace themselves with new healthy cells, you got to think about it like this. I mean, if I want to have a new car, I'm not going to go to the auto salvage yard. I'm not going to go to the junkyard and pick up old parts. I'm not going to be grabbing parts off a 1970 Chevelle and trying to build a brand new car out of it, right? I want to build a new car out of brand new parts. Well, in your body, it's kind of the same way. Do you want to have your body replacing the old cells with old parts, or do you want to have your body replace the old cells with brand new parts? And I don't have to answer that question. You don't have to either, because I know your answer is that you want to have new parts. And so where do you get these new parts? Well, it's the food that you intake, it's the air that you intake, it's the water that you drink, and that's what your body's going to use for the building blocks. Well, if you don't have those parts, your body's going to take the old cells, it's going to tear them apart just like a salvage yard, and then it's just going to go up in the shelves and it's going to grab the old salvage parts, and it's going to build you out of it. So let's talk about a few particular areas that I really think are major areas of concern, and maybe people don't pay enough attention to it. But the thyroid is one of these areas of the body that you really need to take a look at, because the thyroid is really the controller of the metabolism, and it controls the metabolism of your body. And metabolism, you break down a lot of the cells, you burn them as energy, then you have to get rid of the junk, you have to get rid of all the byproducts, and the thyroid, if it's not working right, can also trigger a lot of depression. Well, about 20, maybe 25 years ago, the EPA put out a study, and they actually said that the cause of most thyroid problems was actually environmental toxins, and toxins in our environment. And so that causes most of the thyroid problems. And if you really take a look at it, Synthroid, or synthetic thyroid hormone, is probably one of the most prescribed medicines in the United States, because it is that common of a problem. But the thyroid, if it's messed up, it's going to mess up the electrochemical system. And as I talk about this more, you'll get to understand why I'm bringing that up. But we've got a product, Sisel has a product, it's called Body Shield, and it was designed with that in mind, that it could get the thyroid to perform more efficiently, it could get the thyroid to work the way it's supposed to. So thyroid conditions are really common, and a lot of times I just tell people, it's a great product to take. I take it every single day. I recommend it to family and friends, because even though they might not have thyroid problems, I think that it's one of those things that help prevent it, because it is that common. And we are all exposed to different toxins, especially fluoride, right? Where do we get fluoride? Where we get it in our toothpaste. Of course, Sisel has a toothpaste called Super Shine that doesn't have any fluoride in it. But the other place that we're exposed to fluoride is in our water. And with our Super H2 system, we can actually remove the fluoride out of our water. And for those of you that are worried about, having the fluoride for your teeth, the fluoride really doesn't help the teeth that much. Not the added fluoride, not the type of fluoride that's found in the water, not the type of fluoride that's found in toothpaste. I was having a discussion with a dentist from Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago. He and I sat down for a couple hours, and we were talking about fluoride. And he said as far as he was taught in college, fluoride was only really beneficial when the teeth were forming anyhow. So even if it is good for you, according to dentists that I've talked to, they say that it's only necessary when the teeth are growing. So when you're little. But enough about that. The next thing that I really want to talk about is the immune system. The immune system, again, being so important, because as you're aging, if you don't have a strong immune system, there's just no way you're going to survive. And so you have to have a strong immune system. And we start talking again about one of the things that affect that. Well, it's some of these super bugs that we're exposed to, the heavy metals that are found in our environment, and also our teeth. The health of your teeth affects your immune system. One root canal can damage. I was listening to a recording the other day, and the scientist was saying that it can affect 67% of your immunity just by having one root canal. So for those of you that are health challenged, you got to start thinking about that. And what do we have in our product line? Well, of course, like we're talking about, we have the toothpaste, which doesn't have the fluoride, but it's got ingredients that actually help to kill the bacteria that are in your mouth. And so if you do have some tooth decay, anything like that, the mouth rinse that we have as well as toothpaste will help out with that. And we can look at that. But talk to your dentist, and if you have a root canal, get those fixed, because according to a lot of the science that's out there, they show that almost every single root canal has some sort of decay in it. But the heavy metals, again, the body shield, the poison, works really good for taking that out. And then the next thing that I want to talk about, and again, this is one of those areas that I don't think a lot of people talk about, is the pH of the stomach, right? And by now, most of us have heard about the 1939 Nobel Prize that went to Dr. Otto Warburg, where he said that if your body's alkaline, that you can't get sick, you can't get cancer, right? And that was the Nobel Prize, 1939. And a lot of people have started talking about, especially like you start hearing about the alkaline water and things like that. Well, I'm here to tell you that, when you take a look at the digestive system really isn't your body, right? I mean, think about it. Digestive system is the outside environment on the inside of your body. It's not your body. It's the outside of your body on the inside of your body. I'm going to say it again just so you think about it. It's the outside environment on the inside of your body. And what I mean by that is that you have an open end where your mouth is, and things go in, and then as it goes down to the tube, your body throws in some chemicals, some enzymes, things like that to digest the food, and then your body absorbs the nutrients. It takes the waste products, dumps it back in, and then there's a hole on the other end, and that's where the stuff comes out, right? But that's an outside environment, on the inside with valves on either end. And so inside of your digestive system, you actually have to have it being acidic. So the inside of your body, like Dr. Otto Warburg said in 1939, you want to have it alkaline, but the outside environment, you want to have it slightly acidic. So like Tom Sr. says, you want to have the skin, the surface of skin is slightly acidic. The inside of your stomach, it's acidic. You want to keep the inside of the digestive system being acidic so that balances out the alkaline on the outside. And you ever wonder about it, like if you drink lemon juice, right? Lemon juice is acidic, but it creates alkalinity inside your body. I mean, think about that. It's an acidic product that makes your body alkaline. And so as we start looking at that, you start thinking about that. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But all of these different things that we're affected by every single day, our diet. Look at what most people eat. They go to McDonald's or any other, and I don't want to just pick on fast food. They go to pretty much any restaurant, and it's all processed food. The nutrients have been processed out of the food. Yeah, that stuff tastes good. They put all sorts of chemicals in it. They have taste testers that are making sure that the food tastes good, but it doesn't have any nutrients in it. You take a look at most supplements on the market. I mean, there's probably 4,000 supplement companies on the market, and as a doctor, I'll tell you, I mean, there's only a handful of companies, maybe less than 15 companies that I would ever recommend anybody buy products from, and that's because just like the other the food manufacturers, they're just trying to hit on a market. They're not really looking to see, are we giving you exactly what you need? I mean, take a look at the number one selling vitamin on the market. As you're driving down the road after you buy it, you might as well throw it out the window. It's safer. Eat the bottle. It's safer to eat the bottle than to eat the vitamin that's inside the bottle. I'm not going to name the vitamin, but if you look it up, the most popular vitamin on the market. And everything in these days is just loaded with toxins and toxins and toxins. But our body runs on an electrochemical system, on different electrochemical connections, and these all need to be in order as well. So we've got the thyroid, we've got the pH, we've got the immune system, and pH is a measure of free hydrogen, and the measure of 7 is considered to be neutral. Anything less than that is considered to be acidic. Anything more than that is considered to be alkaline, and that stuff all needs to be in balance. And so we want to watch that pH as well. And when you take a look at it, when we're talking electrochemical, again, electrochemical, on the electrochemical side of it, the higher the pH, the higher the H concentration, right, which means more hydrogen atoms, the better the conductivity, right? So where do we get more hydrogen? Well, we get more hydrogen with our hydrogen water, and we get more hydrogen when we have good, healthy bacteria in our digestive system. Your gut has healthy bacteria, and then healthy bacteria actually builds hydrogen. And so an electrical wire, the current is carried by electrons. In your body, it's carried through solutions by ions. And the greater the concentration of the ions, the greater the conductivity. And if you have better conductivity, guess what? Better signaling. And everything that your body has, it has to run on a signal. You know, for example, if I want to move my pinky on my right hand, a signal goes from my brain down my neck, down my arm to my left hand, and it makes my pinky work. But if that signal is messed up, it's not going to do that. And so you want to have the right conductivity, and that's all controlled by, again, with the ionic solutions, which comes from your food and from your supplements and the different things that you eat, drink, breathe, all those different things. And so, I guess like I say, if we get a bunch of people lined up and they're all standing in a bucket brigade, and you're starting on one end and you're handing buckets of water across to the other people, along the way, some people are going to be slower than others, and what's going to happen is you're going to slow that bucket brigade down. And think about that as the same thing in your ionic solutions in your body. And so you want to try and keep things as optimal as you possibly can. And really, so tonight I'm going to kind of summarize it and get this all summarized in the next 2 minutes, is that each cell has its own function. It's supposed to do something. Each cell has its own lifespan that's coded into the cell, and so you want to make sure that those cells are operating at peak efficiency by having a strong immune system, by making sure that your thyroid's working properly, by making sure you take all the toxins out of your diet, and then you want to make sure that the pH of your stomach is acidic. And we can talk a little bit more on another call about, people talk about acid reflux, and they take all these medicines like Prilosec and all that to Prilosec to balance it out. And really what I'm trying to tell you is those things, when you start looking at them, it actually turns out that they're not healthy for you. It's not what you need, because you do need to have the acid. And when you measure pH, it's the measure of free hydrogen, and the more free hydrogen, the better conductivity that you're going to have. Conductivity means better signaling, and you're going to have signals that are going to move from your brain to your hands, to your arms, to your gut, to your heart, and you're just going to have better health. So I hope that all kind of wraps it up and just summarizes it real quickly. And again, I could sit here for the next 3 days and bore you to death with the chemistry, and I really don't want to do that. But the one thing that I really love about the products that we have with Sisel is that they're designed to do exactly what I'm talking about. They're designed to help you stay healthy. They're designed to be optimum nutrition. They're not. Tom doesn't just throw a little bit of this in there. He actually looks at the scientific studies, and he says, okay, scientific studies said we need 5 milligrams. Guess what's in our product? There's 5 milligrams. If it says it needs 1,000 milligrams, we get 1,000 milligrams. And that's why he reformulates products all the time, because new science comes out. The amount of knowledge that we have doubles every 5 years. And so if a product doesn't go obsolete every so often, then we're not keeping up with the science. And so that's the end of what I really want to talk about. Dominic, I'm going to hand it back over to you. If you want to close it out with some words of wisdom, what do you have to say there, man? Are you there? All right. Well, Dominic,
I am here, Doc. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
But you don't have to be very smart to do this business, as we all know.
Yeah. Well, did I cover it in a way that made it understandable for everybody?
Oh, absolutely. I think, kind of that's something that I've always said you have a specialty in. You're able to take pretty, sometimes very small knowledge and break it down. Someone like myself, basically zero scientific or medical experience whatsoever, can understand it. So, yeah, I mean, you always make an impact to me, at least. I get to get stuff like this to do. So thank you very much for all of that.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dominic. And Rob, thanks for recording this. It'll be up on the Sisel Doctors Clinic website in just, probably in the next 15 minutes. Rob does a great job of doing that. Thanks for joining us. Next Tuesday, I'll be back from this longevity conference. It's going to be exciting. It's the largest gathering of life extension people in the entire world, and I'm going to be there in the midst of it, and I'm going to come back next Tuesday, and I'll share with everybody what I learned. I'll probably spend the next couple of weeks going over what I learned, and let's get fired up. We're at the right place at the right time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Bill. Have a great time at your conference, Doc.